Now, let me start off by saying most of what I'm about to say is speculation, but I'll start off with the facts. Right after you subscribe, leave a comment telling me that I'm completely wrong and there's actually this little bit of information that you didn't know. And, I don't know, maybe subscribe while you're down there for more, I guess, Deepwoken content and Emblem Tales when it comes out. With that, let's get into it.
Let's go. Gushing all be from the unknown. Said I gotta show that I'm with it. I got gusto, not tell false. I kill them, we all cut throats. Had to put the work in, show them what the work is. Came up from the bottom, now I'm up though, ayy. Stuck up at the trenches, now I'm on my lit shit. Give me serious, one punch, hold on. What the fuck, ayy? Pass up the race, gotta show them my pain when I ain't above the stakes. High like a satellite.
Let me start off with the things that we know for definite. A lot of these things I learned from watching Lord Sendo's video. I kind of take what he said and try and add on to it using newer information, I guess, that he just didn't have 4 months ago, along with like trying to come up with some of my own theories. So definitely go watch his video. It will make a lot more sense. I think he laid it out in a really good way. And yeah, I'll leave the link to his channel in the description. Feel free to go watch the video. After mine, of course. But yeah, starting off with the 4 things we know for sure. We know you can get the codex from missions as drops. These codex can be elemental or physical. Codex in this case are basically just, I assume, books that you can read to gain stat points. Since they are a drop, they probably are dropped by players on death as well. Maybe, I'm not so sure about that one. Number 2, you choose your preferred magic at the start of the game. But that doesn't limit you to just one magic, as clips have shown people having multiple different types at the same time of the 4 variants that you can have. Thanks to a clip of Rag saying you spawn with the element of your choice and that you spawn with some stat points in it, this leads us to believe.
How do the elements work? Are you born with an element? Do you pick an element?
You pick your preferred element at the start.
Yep. And you'll get some points in that to begin with.
Yep. So you can like start making those types of moves right off the bat.
That you do need stat points to actually unlock spells. So that comes up with rule number 3. Stat points are required for spells. As for rule number 4, we have a new little information. Basically, mantras are required to make spells. It's just that simple. Now I guess it's on to speculation. Let me start off by saying everything past this point is how I think it could work. None of this is set in stone. It could be completely different when the game comes out, but getting it right now could be pretty cool. By using these 4 rules we've established, we can figure out a lot about how the spell mechanics could work. Starting off, I think once you get your first element, the element codex that isn't the same as the one you started with, let's say you started with Thundercall and you got a fire codex, you would then read that codex and it would unlock fire magic. I think every fire codex you get after that point will add 1 stat point into the actual fire, let's say, tree. I think this is how you unlock the add a fire ability to your spells. I doubt that stat points alone will unlock full spells, but I think it might unlock the base knowledge of the spell. This is probably how you add a certain element to a certain animation, so you can cast specific craftable spells. Some spells require more stat points in that specific element category than others. That's just how I think it will work. This could end up leading to, in later updates, maybe combo spells. Maybe you can use a fire mixed with wind magic to make a flaming tornado or a lightning tornado. But having the element is only one piece of the puzzle. I think the other piece of the puzzle is mantras. A nice hint dropped by Rag. Now, I did some research and I went on Wiki, the most reliable source on the internet. But from my research, I found a quote. Believed to be a spell or weapon of supernatural power. This was describing mantras. This leads me to think this is how you add a certain animation to a spell. I.e., if you want to make a grab Thundercall move, you would need to get, let's say, 5 points in Thundercall, then a certain mantra that has the grab animation. But then you'll probably have to go to a certain area, maybe a region on the map that's a constant storm, to fully craft it, since Deepwoken seems to be focusing on the explore the map angle, which I personally love. That's basically it on how I think the actual crafting will work. So basically, what I'm saying is I think you'll have a certain amount of stat points in one area. You'll need a drop, probably from a high level boss or enemy, to actually get the animation side of it, which is the mantra, which is basically something you just recite over and over. So maybe the more you practice a spell, the better it becomes, or the more reliable it becomes. That's the most likely ending up situation. And then you'll have to go to some area to fully craft it. Rag says this has been changed a lot, so I doubt I'm right, but it is fun coming up with these ideas. Moving on, I'm going to talk about how you could possibly obtain these items. As for obtaining each component, i.e. the element codex and the mantra, we know from Agamatsu's thought video that the codex drops from missions, and since it's an item, and items drop on death, that leads me to think players also drop codexes, meaning you could progress both through PvE and PvE, which is held up by what the testers say. Especially considering that later game you would have more mantras on you, so it would definitely be a lot easier to kill enemies than do missions, because the missions will definitely take longer. This makes the most sense, and I feel like it'll be the easiest way to actually make spells is by killing people. As for mantras, I would bet they're a rare item, kind of similar to codexes, where you could definitely drop them on death, because it makes the most sense that if you could possibly get a codex, why couldn't you drop, like, let's say a mantra? It depends if it is actually an item, of course. If I had to guess, the mantras are probably scrolls, probably guarded by a big monster boy, such as...
Watch out for the...
Or maybe they require a mission progression. Either way, there isn't a lot of info on mantras to know how they will be obtained or how they'll even work. That's why this is purely speculation. But I can't wait to see, and guess we're just gonna wait.